I am the most beautiful and wealthiest girl in Liangju City. By a twist of fate, I married a horse slave. I found the horse slave crude and only possessing a handsome appearance. I tormented him, humiliated him, trampled on him, and even gave him a name, Godan. Later, I began to have feelings for him, and I even had a little puppy growing in my belly. But then he transformed into the crown prince, someone I could no longer reach. The one who used to obey my every command now wanted to divorce me, marry another girl, and even force himself upon me. So I ran away with the little puppy in my belly. I'm done for. The horse slave I bullied and humiliated for 2 years has actually transformed into the crown prince. In Liangju City, throwing the embroidered ball to choose a husband is a popular tradition. 2 years ago, when I threw the embroidered ball to choose a husband, my father, the wealthiest man in Liangju City, gathered all the talented young men in the city to compete for the embroidered ball. I like Scholar Lu the most. Who would have thought that the one who ended up catching the embroidered ball was actually a crude stable hand? I care about my reputation, so of course I couldn't publicly break off the engagement. I reluctantly allowed the stable hand to marry into my family, but I looked down on him, who only had a handsome face and brute strength, and vented all my frustration on him. I gave him a name, Godan. I didn't want him to touch me, so in winter I made him sleep in the stable, and in summer nights, I made him sleep in the woodshed. On days when I felt good, I'd have him lie on the ground, step on the paint, and paint on his back. When I was in a bad mood, I'd step on his face. In short, I would respond to any insult with one of my own. But he never cried, never complained, and never got angry. He just let me bully him. Eventually, I even felt a bit guilty, thinking I was some kind of beautiful, rich, and twisted monster. A month ago, I was kidnapped by ruthless bandits and drugged. He came to save me, riding in on a fiery steed with a spear in hand. I thought he looked exceptionally handsome that day, and I ended up foolishly sharing a room with him. It seems like I have a slight fondness for him. When I open my eyes, I think of him. When I close my eyes, I still think of him. I feel like he's a bit like a bewitching male demon, so I angrily sent him back to the stable. But before, when I had him stay in the stable, I, this beautiful psychopath, was quite pleased with myself. Now, I sneak over to see him. He's at my house, yet I'm lovesick, the incurable kind. The little flame in my heart is growing rapidly. I don't want him sleeping in the stable anymore. I want to see him during the day and lean on his broad, warm chest at night. Today is his birthday, and I made him a bowl of longevity noodles with my own hands, wanting to give him a surprise. He's going to be a father dog. I learned upon arriving at the stable that he was the only child of the emperor and empress, a crown prince who had been lost to the common folk due to war. Godan, in an instant, became Ju Yuchen, the golden egg. It is said that he also has a fiancée betrothed to him before birth. The crown princess is very beautiful, the daughter of a high-ranking official, the capital's #1 talented woman, proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. He will marry her upon returning to the capital. My stable has already been surrounded. As soon as the imperial guards spotted me sneaking around, they pressed their swords against my neck. Bold commoner, how dare you not kneel before His Highness the Crown Prince? Suddenly, I felt a wave of sadness. I didn't kneel before him, only risked having my head cut off by carefully taking his hand. Are you really the Crown Prince? What does Miss Shen want to torment me with today? The coarse hemp clothes he wore had been replaced by an imposing black robe, exuding an air of noble superiority. He distantly shook off my hand. Miss Shen, rest assured, once I return to the capital, I will have someone deliver the divorce papers to you. It felt like my eyes had been splashed with chilly water. I didn't intend to torment him today. I wanted to celebrate his 22nd birthday. I want to tell him that I have a little puppy egg in my belly. I also want to tell him that I can't bear to part with him. If he doesn't want to stay, I can go to Kyoto to be with him, but he doesn't even want me to hold his hand, and instead, he wants to give me a letter of divorce. I'm only 18 years old, and I've already become a divorced woman. I finally understood that he hates me and won't want the little puppy egg in my belly either. In the future, he will live harmoniously with his crown princess and have a bunch of little golden eggs, and I, Shen Tang, am just the bad pervert who bullied him when he was down and out. Does Miss Shen have anything else? seeing that I was still standing there. Stupidly, he condescended to ask me again. I wanted him to taste the longevity noodles I made myself, but after all the unspeakable things I've done to him, he spared my life, so how could he possibly taste the longevity noodles I made for the first time? I was afraid he would retaliate against my family, so I didn't dare to speak further, only shaking my head with teary eyes. Ha! He gave a sardonic snort, mounted his horse, and never looked back. My heart felt suddenly hollow, and after standing stiffly in place for a long time, I collapsed straight to the ground, nearly miscarrying. To make matters worse, 3 days after he left Liangju City, my father was accused of plotting to harm a high-ranking official and was taken to the capital. My mother and I refused to believe my father would harm anyone, but upon rushing to the capital, we learned that he had been convicted and sentenced to execution in a month. My mother and I went to the prison to see my father. He said he had been framed. In just half a month in prison, my once handsome and spirited father had become emaciated beyond recognition. My mother was so heartbroken that she nearly cried her eyes out. She was such a beautiful and radiant person, yet the light in her eyes had completely vanished. Suddenly, my mother thought of something and tightly grabbed my hand. Tang Tang, go find the dog, ask His Highness the Crown Prince for help. After all, the two of you were deeply in love for 2 years, and he even called your father his father-in-law once. He definitely won't stand by and watch you suffer. Tang Tang, I'm begging you. I dare not tell my mother that I have never been in love with the current Crown Prince, Ju Yuchen. I dare not tell her even more that when I was happy, I made him dive into the water in winter to catch fish for me. When I was irritable during my menstrual period, I would whip him again and again. He probably wishes nothing more than for a beautiful pervert like me to meet with. Misfortune, how could he possibly help me? I couldn't bear to see the glimmer of hope in my mother's eyes extinguished, so I took my favorite little golden whip and went to the prince's residence to request an audience. At worst, he could take revenge and beat me to death. I couldn't just stand by and watch my father's head be chopped off. In the past, when I told Dog Egg to go east, he wouldn't dare to go west. I want him to kneel before me, and he won't lie at my feet. Only now do I realize how difficult it is to see him even once. From morning till dusk I waited, and the little golden whip in my hand was covered in snow. Before I finally saw him riding in, he was already breathtakingly handsome, and now, dressed in an expensive fur coat, he seemed like a deity descending to earth. He dismounted, his thin, cold gaze piercing directly onto the small golden whip in my hand. Which hand did Miss Shen use to strike my whip? Already shivering from the cold, hearing his voice devoid of any warmth, my lips trembled uncontrollably. I suspected he wanted to cut off these sinful hands of mine. Then, I heard him say again, which foot did Miss Shen use to step on me? The guards behind him suddenly drew their swords, their cold blades gleaming, afraid they might actually chop off my hands and feet. I instinctively wanted to step back. Who would have thought that my feet were frozen stiff? With that one move, I stumbled right into his arms. His chest was burning hot, and I couldn't help but recall the tenderness from the night we consummated our marriage. When he held me in his arms and coaxed me gently, I couldn't help but let my eyes redden, and I fearlessly asked him, "Dog, Your Highness the Crown Prince, can you save my father?" He raised his hand and playfully hooked the tie of my cloak. "So, you took the initiative to throw yourself into my arms because you want me to save Shen Nanshan. Very well, I'll test the skills of the arrogant and domineering Miss Shen in serving others, to see if she can please me in bed." With that, he simply carried me into the Crown Prince's residence and tossed me onto his bed. As the white fox cloak fell away, he immediately grabbed hold of my undergarment. Shen Gaodan, his strength was truly immense. He threw me onto the bed so hard that my lower back ached fiercely. Combined with his excessive actions, I was both angry and embarrassed, unable to suppress my temper, and I raised my small golden whip. He directly tore off my little garment. He curled his lips mockingly, cold and detached, his dark, star-like eyes filled with an unapproachable aloofness, commanding presence without even being angry. "Miss Shen, is this how you ask for help?" The small golden whip in my hand slipped to the ground in defeat. The gaze he cast upon me was truly too cold, like an ink pool frozen over. It slowly consumed and froze my insides. I also realized once again that he was no longer the dog egg who bore my surname, but Ju Jindan, who could crush my entire family with a flick of his little finger. Entertain me, if you can satisfy me, perhaps I will show mercy and spare Shen Nanshan's life. Entertain him. I suddenly felt an indescribable sadness in my heart. I couldn't help but lower my gaze and gently touch my still flat belly. On the day he returned to the capital, I experienced some bleeding. Although the little one in my belly was saved, the doctor said that my pregnancy was unstable and there was still a risk of miscarriage. I needed to be especially careful during the first 3 months. I couldn't let my emotions fluctuate too much, engage in strenuous activities, or have marital relations. I'm afraid of bleeding, even more afraid of losing the little puppy in my belly. Even if Ju Jindan doesn't want him, I still want him, but Ju Jindan wants me to please him. This is the only chance I have to save my father. So reluctant, Ju Yuchen sneered. I don't like forcing others. If you're so unwilling, you can wait to collect Shen Nanshan's body a month from now. My eyes ached with the sting of injustice, and I wanted to cry. I also wanted to tell him that I was pregnant, that my health hadn't been good lately, and that I couldn't do that kind of thing, but I didn't dare tell him about the little puppy growing inside me. Qiu Niang, who grew up with me, saved a down-and-out scholar a year ago, and the two of them fell in love before the scholar went to the capital to take the imperial exam. Qiu Niang became pregnant. The scholar was chosen as a son-in-law from the list of successful candidates and became the esteemed son-in-law of the minister. When he learned that Qiu Niang was with child, the scholar feared that the child would hinder his future and forced someone to give Qiu Niang an abortifacient. Even a lowly 7th-rank official, after gaining a noble lady as his new love, would not want the child of a wife who had shared hardships. Ju Yuchen, being the crown prince who stood above tens of thousands, how could he possibly want the little one in my womb? Moreover, I am not the virtuous wife who has shared hardships with him, but rather the beautiful pervert who bullied and tormented him for 2 years. The people cannot contend with the officials. Even a low-ranking official can treat human life as worthless. So how much easier is it for the lofty crown prince to crush me and little dog egg, just like stepping on 2 ants? Ha! The lofty crown prince has clearly lost his patience. He chuckled derisively, casually tossing my undergarment to the ground before turning to leave. Dog, Your Highness the Crown Prince. I bit my lip hard, yet still tightly embraced him from behind. I was spoiled and used to getting my way, arrogant and prideful, disliking to bow down to others. I don't want to bleed, but I want my father to live even more. I looked up at the ceiling, struggling to hold back my tears, my voice trembling as I said, I will please you. Ha! Ju Yuchen let out another extremely disdainful and cold sneer at this moment. He was facing away from me, so I couldn't see his facial expression, but I could imagine how cold and ruthless it must have been. I was afraid he would turn and leave again, so even though I wasn't very good at how to please a man, I awkwardly reached out to him. After thinking for a moment, I walked in front of him and, with a hint of sadness, kissed his lips. Is this all Miss Shen can do? How much more does he want me to be capable of? I felt both ashamed and angry, wanting to grab my little golden whip, but I understood that if I dared to pick up my little golden whip at this moment, it would be like holding a knife to my father's head. It's just that for the moment, I really can't muster any other skills. I looked up, meeting his gaze, and as I saw the dark, turbulent waves in his eyes, I couldn't help but think of the night we consummated our marriage. That night, his eyes were like surging waves, a deep color I couldn't comprehend, but that night, he didn't command me from on high to please him. Instead, he kissed me gently and lovingly, and after hurting me, he kept comforting me, asking me not to cry now. Ju Yuchen would love nothing more than to see me cry. The kindness he showed me that night contrasts so sharply with the cruelty he's displaying now. It makes my nose sting. However, the memory of that night also gave me some inspiration. I imitated the way he had kissed me that night, carefully kissing him, hoping his gaze wouldn't be so cold, and that he would help my father, Shen Tang, stay away from me. I didn't know what was wrong with him, but his breathing suddenly became very rapid. Hearing him tell me to stay away, I was afraid that if I didn't keep my distance, he would throw me down and hurt me again. so I instinctively wanted to step back. Who knew that as soon as I took a small step back, he grabbed my waist with one hand and pressed me firmly against the edge of the bed, taking control and almost crushing my lips, too. I wanted to ask if he was a dog in his previous life, but I didn't quite dare to say it. His kisses grew increasingly fierce, making it hard for me to breathe, and I couldn't even utter a complete sentence. Clothes tore apart. I felt like a fallen leaf drifting in the deep sea, swaying helplessly with the towering waves. It was a bit embarrassing. I ended up fainting from exhaustion. I had something on my mind, so I didn't sleep very soundly before it was fully light. I groggily opened my eyes. Ju Yuchen must be going to court. He was already dressed and groomed impeccably, cold and dignified, no longer the Shen Gaodan I remembered who wore coarse cloth every day. My eyes couldn't help but become sore and watery again. I sniffled before speaking hoarsely. Your Highness, last night I already. The words that followed were difficult for me to say, so I changed my tone. You will save my father, right? When did I ever say that as long as you let me sleep with you, I would definitely save Shen Nanshan? What? My eyes widened. Abruptly, I never would have thought that, after I was so exhausted last night, my bones feeling as if they had been crushed, he would actually say such things. Before I could even recover from the intense disappointment and sadness, I heard him sneer. Besides, with a body like yours, could you possibly please me? I'm not particularly clever, but after hearing his words, I understood he never intended to save my father from the beginning. He deliberately humiliated me just like how I've humiliated him over these past 2 years. I felt so miserable that it felt like a heavy rain was about to pour from my eyes, but I don't like to cry, so I forced myself to hold back the tears. I also forcefully suppressed the urge to pick up the small golden whip, mustered all my strength, and lowered my head to beg him. Your Highness the Crown Prince, I truly beg you, I don't want my father to die, please save him. He didn't even spare me a glance, carrying an air of frost, and left without looking back. I felt as though I had lost my soul, as if a walking corpse. I picked up the scattered clothes and put them on, then walked out numbly. Unexpectedly, as soon as I stepped out of his palace, I saw Lin Huaimi walking towards me. I had seen Lin Huaimi from a distance on the street before and knew she was the apple of the British Duke's eye. She was also Ju Yuchen's future crown princess. Lin Huaji is truly beautiful after all. My father is the richest man in Liangju City. Her clothes might not be as expensive as mine, but her air of superiority and scholarly elegance still made me feel inferior. The way she looked at me also carried disdain and contempt, as if I were some kind of filth. So you're the merchant girl who was favored by the crown prince during his time in Liangju. She said this as if Ju Yuchen and I had gotten together without any formal arrangement. I didn't much like her domineering attitude, so I corrected her. It's not that he's indulging me, I have a marriage contract with him. He is my husband. Even if Ju Yuchen were to divorce me now, it wouldn't change the fact that he was once my husband. My husband. Lin Huaji let out a sarcastic laugh, as if my words were utterly ridiculous. I've inquired about it. When the crown prince was in Liangju City, you treated him very poorly. He married you. But have you ever respected him? Have you ever truly loved him? It's just that now your Highness the Crown Prince is noble and exalted, and you want to climb up by attaching yourself to him. That's why you're so eager to fawn over the Crown Prince. How could the Crown Prince possibly take a fancy to a woman like you who loves vanity and has a heart as ruthless as a wolf's? However, if you really want to attach yourself to the Crown Prince, once I marry him, I can have him take you into the residence as a concubine. How infuriating! Who would care to be Ju Yuchen's concubine? I only want one person for a lifetime. If Ju Yuchen is going to marry another woman, even if I have some affection for him, I will no longer cling to him in the future. If my father's life weren't currently in the hands of these officials, I would definitely fight Lin Huaji. But after my father was imprisoned, my mother and I went around pleading for help, and most of my temper had long been worn away after hitting walls time and again. I also realized that no matter how wealthy my family was, it could never compare to power. I was truly spoiled by my parents before, which is why I was so clueless and lawless. I won't be a concubine. I didn't argue with Lin Huaji. After saying this, I dragged my still somewhat aching body forward and walked away. Ju Jindan is really not a good person last night. He was like a maniac who wanted to eat someone. The only thing I'm grateful for is that I didn't bleed, so I should be fine and not have harmed the baby. After leaving the Crown Prince's residence, I looked up at the glaring sun overhead and, in the end, couldn't help but shed tears. Ju Yuchen hates me. He only wants to see my family suffer. He won't save my father. What should I do to clear my father's name? I'm really scared that my father will really lose his head. Miss Shen. I was crying without a care for my appearance when suddenly I heard a voice that sounded somewhat familiar. Hastily wiping the tears from the corners of my eyes, I turned around and saw that the person calling me was indeed Lu Juren. Lu Xingye. My studies are poor, so I've always had a deep admiration for scholars. My father also likes scholars, so 2 years ago, he gathered all the scholars he had sponsored in Liangju City and had them compete for my embroidered ball. At that time, I most hoped that the elegant and refined Lu Xingye would catch the embroidered ball. To be honest, I felt quite regretful when Lu Xingye didn't catch the embroidered ball. Later, as I grew fond of Ju Yuchen, I came to believe that everything was the best arrangement from heaven. Unfortunately, Ju Yuchen never liked me. Instead, he despised me. I heard that Lu Xingye was also caught as a son-in-law after the results were announced. He married the eldest daughter of the Minister of Justice 2 years ago. He took the palace examination and was appointed as the Tanhua, third-place scholar. He was already exceptionally talented, and with the support of his father-in-law, his path to success was remarkably smooth. In just 2 short years, he had already risen to the position of a 5th-rank official in the Ministry of Justice. My father's case was handled by the Ministry of Justice, and I knew he would have influence there. I quickly approached him and pleaded, "Mr. Lu, Your Excellency, my father has been falsely accused. Could you please help him?" My father had indeed done many favors for Lu Xingye and other scholars from humble backgrounds. I don't like using favors to demand repayment, but now, I really have no other choice. I still hope that Lu Xingye can help him out, considering my father once supported him. It's been 2 years, Miss Shen, you've become even more charming. Lu Xingye didn't answer my question. Instead, he just stared at me intently. His gaze made me feel extremely uncomfortable, and I subconsciously took a big step back. He smiled even more warmly, like the spring breeze of March. Mr. Lu has always admired Miss Shen and hopes that Miss Shen can be by his side often. Shameless, I suddenly realized that Lu Xingye was not as upright and noble as he appeared on the surface. Just like Ju Yuchen, who seems uninterested in women, but in bed is completely different. Men cannot be judged by their appearance. My father and mother had a good relationship. Whether my father was penniless or a millionaire, he never entertained the idea of taking a concubine. I grew up bathed in the love of my parents and naturally believed that a husband and wife should be faithful to each other. I never expected that even after Lu Xingye married the daughter of a high-ranking official, he still wanted me. I forced myself to hide the hand holding the small golden whip behind my back and patiently said, "Lord Lu is already married. Isn't it common for a man to have multiple wives and concubines?" Lu Xingye showed no trace of shame on his face, but his eyes revealed more malice and greed. "I can arrange a house for you. You can stay outside for now. I'll visit you often, and when the time is right, I'll bring you back to the mansion and elevate you to a noble concubine." He means for me to be his mistress. I was so angry that my teeth itched, but I want my father to live, so I have to hold back my temper and keep talking nonsense with him. "I won't be anyone's mistress, Lord Lu. You scholars always say that a drop of kindness should be repaid with a spring. My father gave you a lot of silver, and now he has been framed. I hope you can help him. What I lack the least right now is silver." As Lu Xingye spoke, he tried to grab my hand. "What I lack now is only a beautiful companion like Miss Shen. I know Miss Shen was with the Crown Prince for 2 years, but His Highness is about to get married soon. He won't want you anymore, Miss Shen. Miss Shen, if you want Shen Nanshan to live, you can only follow me." The more I look at Lu Xingye's outwardly charming but inwardly rotten appearance, the more disgusted I feel, and I can't help but retch. Lu Xingye clearly didn't expect me to be so disgusted by him that I would vomit. His face turned green instantly. "Don't be ungrateful." He ground his teeth and continued to threaten me. You should know very well what my status is now. If I wanted Shen Nanshan dead, he wouldn't last until the execution a month later. Shen Tang, I'll give you 2 days. If after 2 days I still don't see you at my villa in the south of the city, you can start preparing Shen Nanshan's coffin in advance. He was completely out of patience after being humiliated, glaring at me with hatred before leaving without looking back. My heart sank like it had fallen into an ice cave. They say that scholars understand propriety, justice, integrity, and honor. In reality, it's often the scholars who are unfaithful. My family is wealthy. Even if we spend a fortune to save my father, the money we have would last several lifetimes. My mother has already bought a house in the capital. After separating from Lu Xingye, I went straight to the new home. I also have a younger brother who is 2 years younger than me. Like my parents, I get a headache just looking at articles. Only my brother, who could recognize characters at 2 and compose poems at 5, is truly a chosen scholar. After hearing the news about my father's accident, my brother Shen Mo hurriedly rushed from the academy to the capital. When I returned, I happened to see Shen Mo entering the door, covered in dust from his journey. Tang Tang, how did it go? Did the the crown prince agree to save your father? After my mother finished asking me, Shen Mo anxiously followed up, my brother-in-law won't let anything happen to father. Right, I really can't bear to disappoint my mother and my brother, but this matter concerns my father's life, so I dare not lie. I can only tell the truth. He is unwilling to save father. It's all my fault. I treated him poorly those 2 years. And he resents me. I have implicated father. Tang Tang, don't talk nonsense. You are our treasure. How could you have dragged your father down? Seeing me upset, my mother quickly comforted me. I just hope your father can be well. But if he really, my mother's eyes turned red, that's his fate. You can't put the blame on yourself just because you couldn't save him. Exactly, sister, you're so good, how could you possibly be wrong? My younger brother also tried his best to comfort me. It's not that your brother-in-law doesn't like you, he just lacks vision. My sister is so smart and beautiful, she deserves the best man in the world. I felt warm inside. See, my father, my mother, even my younger brother indulge me, so it's no wonder I'm so arrogant and domineering. But the once unrestrained, arrogant, and proud Miss Shen, after understanding the many helpless realities of this world, no longer dares to be so bold. I just want our whole family to be safe. Sister, I heard from mother that you're pregnant. You should go back to your room and rest. I'm 16 now, and I can hold up this family. I'll figure out a way to handle father's situation. You and mother don't need to worry. I will definitely save father. I look at the elegant and handsome Shen Mo before me, my heart filled with relief. The little child who used to follow me around crying has truly grown up. My stomach was faintly aching, and I was also afraid that if I didn't rest properly, something might happen to the little puppy in my belly. Persuaded by my brother and my mother, I finally returned to my room. I was truly worried about my father and couldn't sleep at all after lying in bed for half a day. I still decided to spend some money and visit my father in prison. As soon as I stepped out of my small courtyard, I saw my brother's outfit. At this moment it was a riot of colors, like a flamboyant peacock showing off. If it were any other man wearing this outfit, it would definitely be a disaster, capable of making people cringe. But with my brother's face, even in a garish outfit, he still exudes a dashing charm, like a man leaning on a bridge with red sleeves fluttering all around. Sis, seeing me, my brother seemed slightly embarrassed. However, he still wore that outfit and twirled in front of me. What do you think of this outfit? I heard that the Princess of Anyang likes handsome men, and I plan to visit her residence. If she keeps me as a male concubine, my father will be saved. My younger brother is the most scholarly in the academy. The teacher said that my younger brother is sure to become the youngest top scholar of the great Zhou dynasty, with boundless prospects. My younger brother is a scholar and might even become a top scholar. How could he be someone's male concubine? I panicked, lured my younger brother to the kitchen, and locked him inside. Sis, open the door quickly. I need to go find Princess Anyang. Even if Princess Anyang doesn't keep me, I can go find someone else. I genuinely enjoy being a male concubine. What's wrong with a man living off a woman? My brother was so anxious that he kept pounding on the door. I'm so smart and good-looking, staying by the side of the Princess of Anyang. I started as a male concubine, but over time, I'm sure I can rise in position. Sis, I'm really perfect for being a male concubine. Let me out quickly. I didn't expect my brother to be so passionate about being a male concubine, but I still don't want him to be a male concubine for anyone in the Great Zhou dynasty. The status of male consorts was the lowest, requiring them to be registered as lowly citizens. If he truly became a male consort, he wouldn't be able to take the imperial examinations next year. I propped my cheek with my hand, sitting outside the kitchen, lost in thought. Going to beg Zhu Yuchen again would only be self-humiliation. He hates me so much that my presence in front of him might even affect his mood, causing my father's head to roll sooner. Lu Xingye is a beast in human form, only wanting to toy with me. I am unwilling to be his concubine, but I can't really let my brother become a male concubine, can I? As night fell, I had someone find out the location of Lu Xingye's southern city villa, and I quietly sent him a letter, still carrying a small lantern made of gold, to his southern city villa. To be honest, I didn't really like Zhu Yuchen at first, but after marrying him, I never thought about being with another man. My feelings for Lu Xingye before that weren't exactly romantic, it was more of an appreciation for a scholar. I don't want to engage in intimate relations with Lu Xingye. Zhu Yuchen doesn't want me anymore. My father's life hangs by a thread. My brother still dreams of becoming a male concubine. Being Lu Xingye's mistress is the only way I can think of to protect our Shen family. At worst, I'll just treat tonight as if I were bitten by a dog all the way. I kept comforting myself, telling myself that I just had to endure tonight and it would be over. But when I actually arrived at that villa and saw Lu Xingye, who looked decent on the surface, I couldn't help but feel panic and disgust. Miss Shen, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Lu Xingye's hand landed on his waistband. Thinking of something, he suddenly curved his lips. From now on, you're mine, so you should be the one to help me undress, serve your sister. I sat coldly on the bed, ready to curse out his ancestors, definitely not willing to help him undress. Seeing that I wasn't listening to him at all, he not only didn't get angry, but his smile grew even more gentle and captivating. Miss Shen is used to being served, so of course she wouldn't know how to help others undress. No matter, I'll serve Miss Shen in a moment. Bastard, I found Lu Xingye more and more disgusting. Just that I have a favor to ask. No matter how frustrated I feel, I can only endure it. Lu Xingye removed his outer robe. Miss Shen, with your beauty like flowers and moon, you have captured my heart. Tonight marks the wedding night between me and Miss Shen. I want to scold him again, especially when I saw him untie his waistband and walk toward me step by step. On such a cold day, I couldn't stop sweat from seeping out of my palms. I realized that all the self-comforting I did along the way was in vain. I can't stand Lu Xingye getting close to me, and I absolutely cannot bear being intimate with him. Miss Shen. Lu Xingye's eyes blazed with fire, his hands trembling slightly with excitement. Suddenly, he took a step forward and tightly gripped my waist. So fragrant, he lowered his face, as if wanting to bury it in the crook of my neck. Afraid that he might actually do that, I shuddered and hastily stepped back, wanting to put some distance between us. Lu Xingye, I don't want to be your concubine. I can give you gold and jewels. I'm really begging you. Please save my father, won't you? I've said it before. I don't lack silver. I just want Miss Shen. Lu Xingye's eyes quickly darkened, and his voice became even more spine-chilling, as he suddenly changed his way of addressing me. Tang Tang. You can keep provoking me, but then, tomorrow you'll be collecting Shen Nanshan's body. My heart skipped a beat. I don't want to collect my father's remains, but Lu Xingye's hands tearing at me. I feel so disgusted that I can hardly go on living on the bed. Zhu Yuchen does make me very tired, but I like it when Zhu Yuchen touches me, whereas when Lu Xingye grabs my clothes, it feels like a disgusting venomous snake has coiled around me. I am going crazy trying to get away from this venomous snake, but if I act willfully, my father will be tortured to death. How could Lu Xingye, being so perverse, possibly show any mercy to my father? Tang Tang, from the moment I first laid eyes on you, I fell in love with you. Every night, I fantasize about the sight of you pinned beneath me. Tonight, I can finally fulfill my desire. Beast. The first time Lu Xingye saw me, I was only 12 years old. He's simply inhuman. His face pressed against my neck. I heard his voice again, filled with clear threats and malice. Let me tell you the truth. Shan will go to prison, and it's all my doing. My father helped you. How could you harm him like this? If he hadn't gone to prison, why would you come begging me? How could I have you? Tang, I advise you to be good, to please me obediently, to stay by my side obediently. I can put your father in prison, and I can also ruin your mother and your brother. So, you have to make me happy. Bastard, I never would have thought that my father's imprisonment was actually caused by Lu Xingye. I wish I could perish together with Lu Xingye, but even if I kill him now, I still can't save my father. My weakness is being held by someone, and no matter how much I hate or how angry I am, I can only endure it. Tang, kiss me. As Lu Xingye said this, he suddenly yanked open my collar. The sudden chill made my body tremble even more violently. I simply couldn't bring myself to kiss Lu Xingye. His sudden action of pulling open my clothes made me reflexively push him away forcefully, feeling my resistance. His clear-featured face instantly darkened and twisted. He seemed to have completely lost his patience, directly pushing me forcefully onto the edge of the bed, attempting to tear my clothes apart. Get away, don't touch me. As his hand landed on me, I felt as if I were being wrapped by a venomous snake again. I turned my face away, retching uncontrollably, tears streaming down my face from the discomfort. I kicked at Lu Xingye with all my might, but despite his refined appearance, he was incredibly strong. He firmly gripped my ankle, making my resistance seem more like a coy attempt to draw him in. Suddenly, my stomach ached unbearably, and with his rough restraint, I couldn't move at all, like fish on a chopping board, completely at the mercy of others. Let go, Lu Xingye. If you dare touch me again, I'll chop off your hand. He's getting more and more out of line, and I've completely lost control of my emotions, unable to suppress my bad temper any longer. Tang, with such a beautiful mouth, why do you speak so unpleasantly? You can keep talking, but every word you say, I'll have someone cut a piece of flesh from Shan. I was so angry that my eyes turned red, and I wished I could tear Lu Xingye apart, yet, I had to admit, his threat was particularly effective on me. I didn't want my father to be cut. I bit my lip tightly, the hatred surging within me, yet I dared not utter another word. Ha! Lu Xingye let out a triumphant, cold laugh, pouncing on me like a ravenous wolf. I closed my eyes in despair for a moment. I considered biting my tongue to end it all, but if I die, my father won't survive either. Tang, you are mine. The tightly shut door was suddenly kicked open. The cold wind that blew in with the open door scattered the candle flames on the table. I instinctively opened my eyes upon hearing the noise. To my surprise, the person who entered was none other than Ju Yuchen. Lu Xingye clearly hadn't expected Ju Yuchen to come here. Either he was just about to take off his inner clothes when he saw Ju Yuchen, his body instantly freezing in place. Hastily, he grabbed his outer robe and started putting it on. Your Highness the Crown Prince. Before Lu Xingye could even put on his outer robe, Ju Yuchen had already kicked him hard, sending him sprawling to the ground. Ju Yuchen was born with extraordinary strength. His martial skills were truly exceptional. That time I was kidnapped, he went alone and cut off the heads of dozens of ruthless bandits. It was also then that I suddenly realized his heroic posture on horseback was 1,000 times more impressive than those scholars who only knew how to spout the way of the ancients. It didn't surprise me at all that Lu Xingye was kicked so hard he couldn't even get up. I just can't understand why, if he already didn't want me, he would come here to look for me. I wonder what offense I have committed against the Crown Prince that would prompt him to disrupt my intimate moments with my concubine in the dead of night. Lu Xingye spat out a mouthful of blood in agony. Though he was kneeling, I could sense the discontent in his demeanor. Concubine. Ju Yuchen directly kicked Lu Xingye in the face, leaving him in pain and unable to regain his voice for a while. I have not yet divorced Lady Shan. As long as I do not write the divorce papers, she remains mine. How dare you touch what is mine? You're asking for it. Ju Yuchen kicked again, and Lu Xingye passed out on the spot. I tightened my clothes around myself with all my strength. I felt somewhat relieved that Ju Yuchen came over tonight, preventing Lu Xingye from succeeding, yet, I was also extremely afraid that once Lu Xingye wakes up, he will retaliate against my father even more severely. I wasn't someone who used to cry easily, but since I got pregnant, my tear threshold has inexplicably become very low. Added to my deep concern for my father, my tears just wouldn't stop. Yu Chen pulled me into his embrace with one arm. Seeing the tear stains all over my face, the ferocity in his brow grew even more intense. Do you like him that much? Are you so heartbroken that I won't let him touch you? To be with him, you'd even stoop so low as to become a mistress. What a pity. I haven't divorced my wife yet, so don't even think about living happily ever after with Lu Xingye. I think Yu Chen is insane. When have I ever liked Lu Xingye? Only a fool would want to live happily ever after with him. However, I have already thoroughly offended Lu Xingye, and I dare not make Crown Prince Ju, who already hates me, even more furious. My father has been accustomed to a life of ease and comfort, and he can't bear the torment from Lu Xingye alone. If we add a ruthless Crown Prince to the mix, I really would have to collect my father's body tomorrow. I didn't dare to defy Yu Chen, so I could only shed tears silently. I don't know where all these tears come from, but tonight it's like a flood, and my tears have completely burst the dam. The more I cried, the colder Yu Chen's eyes became. You're feeling wronged now, Shen Tang. Are you so wronged being with me? But even if you're wronged, you can only return to the Crown Prince's residence with me, you bastard. I gritted my teeth and cursed him in my heart. Lu Xingye is scum, and Yu Chen is no good either. One wants me as a concubine, the other wants me as a secondary wife. Both are dogs. Shen Tang, shut up. Seeing that I was still crying, Yu Chen slapped me hard on my behind. He hit such a shameful spot, and my tears fell even more fiercely. I don't know if it's my imagination, but I actually saw a hint of helplessness in the eyes of the lofty Crown Prince. But how could he be helpless? He hates me so much, wishing I would cry myself to death or suffer to death. How could my tears possibly throw him off balance? Come back with me. Meeting his gaze, which held not a trace of warmth, I realized that I had been reading too much into things just now. I quickly tried to break free from his embrace. I'm not going back. I won't be your concubine. Concubine. Yu Chen's eyes first flashed with confusion, then filled with sarcasm and frost. You want to follow me? You're not worthy, Shen Tang. Let me make this clear one last time. Before I give you the divorce letter, if you dare to cheat on me again, I will definitely kill you. I turned my face away, and the tears started flowing even more profusely. What kind of person is he? He looks down on me, yet doesn't allow me to give him a taste of his own medicine. He's even more twisted than I am. He's deliberately seeking revenge on me. He just doesn't want me to have a good time. I don't want to return to the Crown Prince's residence to see him and Lin Huamai being all lovey-dovey, but he grabbed me like a bandit and forced me into the carriage. I couldn't escape, and later, he threw me onto the bed in his palace. Where did Lu Xingye touch you? I was rubbing my sore lower back, my eyes red, when his voice, cold as ice hitting the ground, suddenly rang out above my head. Then, his calloused fingertip landed on my lips. Did he kiss you here? I didn't answer immediately, instead looking at Yu Chen with extreme wariness. His deep, fathomless starry eyes gradually became tinged with red streaks like a bloodthirsty hellish azure. He seemed intent on turning the mortal world into a river of blood. In this state, it was as if he would cut off my lips if I said Lu Xingye had touched them. Lu Xingye didn't kiss my mouth. I've been retching non-stop, so I guess he wouldn't be able to stomach it either. I also think Yu Chen looks quite intimidating right now. I shouldn't have provoked him, but right now, my back hurts, my stomach aches, and I feel uncomfortable all over. I can't help but remember how good he used to be to me, and I feel especially wronged. Despite everything, I still can't help but defy him. I raised my chin, my eyes and brows tinged with an unreasonable arrogance. It's none of your business. Anyway, you're about to give me a letter of divorce soon. Even if you don't give me a letter of divorce, I still want to separate from you. Yu Chen, isn't it just that you hate me, resent me, and want to make me miserable? I pulled the small golden whip from my sleeve and threw it on the ground. Here's the whip, go ahead and beat me to death if you want. The more I spoke, the more upset I felt, so I simply gave up and lay down on the couch. Even lifting my feet, I've stepped on you with my foot. At worst, you can just chop off my feet too. I raised my hand again. Here, take my hands too. Chop them however you like, steam them, braise them, do whatever you want. You can even beat me to death. I didn't want him to see my tears, so I turned my face away. As long as you promise to save my father, I'm willing to accept any punishment you give me. Ju Yuchen didn't say a word, his handsome face dark and stern as he picked up the small golden whip from the ground. My body couldn't help but tremble violently. Over the past 2 years, I had lashed out at Ju Yuchen many times whenever I was in a bad mood, but I've never been in the best of health since I was little, and I'm a bit weak. Every time I hit him, I couldn't even leave a red mark. It's different when he hits me. He's naturally strong. If he were to whip me, my delicate skin would surely be torn open. I'm afraid of him hitting me, but I also cared about my pride and didn't want him to see that I was scared, so I straightened my back and let him whip me. After you whip me to death tonight, can you help clear my father's name? After I die, could you burn more paper money at my grave? I'm afraid I won't have any silver to spend in the underworld. Ha, burn money for you. You think too highly of yourself. Cheapskate, after beating me to death, you won't even spare a few paper coins to burn for me. What kind of damn crown prince are you? As Ju Yuchen drew closer and closer to me, I was so frightened that I immediately shut my eyes tightly. I moved my lips slightly, wanting to say, could you please not hit my face? I really care about my appearance. Even if I were to become a ghost, I'd want to be a pretty one. Ju Yuchen's whip didn't come down. Instead, my waist tightened as he gripped it firmly. Are you really so unwilling to let me touch you? But tonight, I insist on touching you. Suddenly, he leaned down, and his cool, thin lips pressed against mine. I didn't expect him to kiss me so abruptly. I was so startled that my eyes widened uncontrollably, watching his thick, dark eyelashes so close to me. I couldn't help but think of the first time he kissed me. The first time he kissed me wasn't on the night we consummated our marriage, but on my birthday last year. Last year on my birthday, he carved a small wooden figurine for me with his own hands. That wooden girl looked just like me. Looking at that wooden girl, my heart suddenly started beating unusually fast, as if I was sick. I've heard that if someone's heart beats too fast, they can die suddenly. At that moment, I was especially afraid that this beautiful pervert of mine would die. I thought Ju Yuchen, who gave me the gift, was the culprit behind my heart problem. I didn't dare tell my parents, so I could only punish him in secret. I made him take off his shirt and lie face down on the floor. I dipped my foot in paint and drew an especially ugly giant turtle on his back. Originally, I was quite angry because he had caused my heart problems, but when I saw that incredibly ugly turtle, I felt a bit smug. Leaning over his back, I couldn't help but twist his ear. He must have felt humiliated and furious. His ears were burning red. The redder his ears got, the more audacious I became. I told him to turn over so I could pinch his ears more easily, but just as he turned, I lost my balance and ended up pressed right against him. And as luck would have it, my lips ended up touching his. My heart is even more abnormal. It's almost bursting out of my chest. What's worse, his lips are exceptionally hot, as if they're going to scorch mine into something braised. I feel this is not quite right, so I hurriedly try to get up, but he pressed down on the back of my head, and I couldn't get up. Furious and embarrassed, I wanted to curse at him. However, as soon as I opened my mouth, all my breath was taken over by him. At first, his movements were clumsy, making my mouth hurt. Later, when he wasn't so clumsy anymore, I actually started to like it a little. So I didn't immediately get up from him. When he finally let go of me, gasping for breath, I realized that I was only in my undergarments, and most of my undergarments had been undone. I felt as if I had been taken advantage of. I couldn't tell my parents about such an embarrassing incident. I decided to continue teaching him a lesson. I used my usual tactic, writing insulting poems on his body. Shengaoden is not a man, he's a dog. Woof woof woof. Shengaoden has no shame. He has no face. Hum. I thought after humiliating him like that, he would surely be so ashamed and angry he'd wish to die, or even want to perish together with me, but instead, he just called my maiden name in a hoarse voice. He told me to get off his waist. Before I could get off, he kissed me again, coaxing me over and over to let him kiss me once more. Back then, Shengaoden was so good. To me, even when I humiliated him, he would still coax me. How could I not have been moved at all? But the Ju Jindan of now only knows how to bully me, humiliate me, and make me hurt. My stomach really hurts so much. The more I think about how he used to indulge me, and the more I look at him now, fierce as the king of hell, the sadder I feel in my heart, especially when he roughly tore off my little clothes. The golden beans I had just managed to stop started flowing like a flood again. I cried so hard that my tears fell onto his face. His movements froze in an instant. He coldly gripped my small garment, his chiseled, handsome face even more severe, like 1,000 miles of frozen ice. Is it really so unbearable for you to be touched by me? Lu Xingye is already married, yet you remain chaste for him. Miss Shen, you truly are devoted. You don't want me to touch you. I don't necessarily need you either. He blackens his face, throws my undergarment aside, wraps me tightly in the silk quilt with a fierce demeanor, and storms out. I cry for a while before my stomach stops hurting. I've been away for so long, I'm afraid my mother and younger brother will worry about me. I quickly tidy myself up, wanting to go home. I couldn't make it home. Ju Yuchen has placed me under house arrest. I know he wants to slowly torment me. This beautiful pervert. I'm worried that after Lu Xingye wakes up, he'll maliciously torment my father. I'm afraid that without me to stop him, my brother might actually become someone's male concubine. I'm so anxious I'm pacing in circles, even thinking about jumping out the window, but there are guards outside the window too, so I can't go home for 7 consecutive days. I didn't see Ju Yuchen. He sent several maids to serve me, and their care for me was meticulous, but I was not happy at all. I don't like being a caged bird. I am even more afraid that I won't be able to see my father one last time. Moreover, these maids would discuss every day how much Ju Yuchen liked Lin Huaji. For example, what hairpin the crown prince had given Miss Lin, their affectionate outings together, their vows of eternal love. I found it particularly grating, and my mood grew even worse. On the 8th day of my house arrest in the crown prince's residence, I finally saw Ju Yuchen again. Ju Yuchen, you bastard. Having been under house arrest for so long, I'm about to go crazy and can no longer care about offending the lofty crown prince. Seeing him enter, I rushed forward with reddened eyes and gave him a hard shove. Let me out of here right now. I miss my mother, and I also want to see my father. Thinking of what Lu Xingye said before, that if I offended him, I could collect my father's body the next morning, my heart ached even more. I pushed him again rudely. Shen Gaodan, you're just a dog. If you prevent me from seeing my father for the last time, I tightened my grip on the little golden whip, trying to scare him. Shen Nanshan is still alive. Hearing his words, my anxious heart finally settled back into place, but thinking about how he had kept me under house arrest while enjoying himself with Lin Huaji every day, I still found him particularly irritating. Yes, the maids also said that he and Lin Huaya stayed in his study for 3 days and 3 nights without coming out, and they had to bring water 10 times a night. That night when he consummated our marriage, he didn't do it that many times. He's entangled with Lin Huamai every day, and he's not afraid of exhausting himself and dying young. Anyway, I don't want to stay here anymore. I want to go out. With that, I dashed out of the sleeping quarters without a care. He grabbed me tightly from behind. You're going to look for Lu Xingye again, willingly becoming his mistress. Dream on. Only a dog would want to find Lu Xingye. I just don't want to be around Lin Huaqing's man. Thinking about how he might have just held Lin Huamai, I got so angry that I bit him hard. Shen Tang, he winced in pain, his voice also tinged with anger. Are you in such a hurry to collect Shen Nanshan's corpse? You bastard, using my father to threaten me again. I'm so angry my eyes hurt. I hate being threatened, but my father is my weakness. Using him to threaten me is indeed effective. I don't dare keep running outside, but I've had enough of listening to the maids talk about his blissful days with Lin Huaji all day long. I glared at him hatefully, slammed the door shut, and bit my lip hard before directly removing the clothes from my body. Shen Tang, what are you doing? Put your clothes back on. Ju Yuchen, for some reason, suddenly sounded a bit breathless, his voice tinged with a seductive hoarseness, but this time, I wouldn't be bewitched by him again, and I certainly wouldn't listen to him. I only hope to go all out and save my father. I know that Ju Yuchen hates me, And the biggest reason is that I humiliated him for 2 years. I think that if I let him do to me what I did to him, the resentment in his heart should diminish. This is the first time I've ever undressed in front of a man like this, but for the sake of saving my father, I forced myself to endure the shame in my heart and said recklessly, "Isn't it just that you think I'm perverted and want to get revenge on me? Come and get your revenge. You stepped on me with your foot, you drew a turtle on my back and wrote poetry on me. At worst, you can also write that Shentang is a dog, woof woof woof, go ahead and write it." I had originally intended to put on a nonchalant expression, but when I thought about how he could bully me but would definitely not be willing to let Lin Huaji suffer any grievances, my voice still took on an uncontrollable sob. "I only beg you, after you have avenged yourself, to save my father. He was truly framed by someone. After all, you once called him father. Won't you help him, please?" Zhu Yuchen stood rooted in place, unmoving. I vaguely realized that merely having him step on me and write poems or paint on my back wasn't enough to humiliate me. I am very afraid of the cold, but to make him agree to save my father, I steeled my heart and continued, "I know you still resent me for making you go into the water to catch fish in the winter. It's winter now too, so I might as well jump into the pond and catch a few fish for you. Last winter, with heavy snow falling, Zhu Yuchen was practicing dance shirtless in the courtyard. I was in a pretty good mood that day. But seeing him not taking care of his health, I suddenly felt a bit upset in my chest. I couldn't help but say, if you like going shirtless so much, why don't you jump in the water and catch some fish for me to eat? Who would have thought? He actually jumped into the pond and caught 2 fish for me. I've never gone into the water to catch fish, however. I think what he really wanted to see was me suffering, enduring the cold, and whether I could catch fish wasn't that important, so I lifted my foot and rushed out of the sleeping quarters to catch fish. "Shentang." Zhu Yuchen lifted me up with one hand and pressed me firmly against the bed. "You think you can go out like this? Are you crazy or something?" I was so angry just now that I forgot I wasn't wearing anything. Thinking about how I almost really rushed out like that, I feel extremely ashamed, but I'm in a state where I'm about to lose control, so of course, I won't admit that I was too impulsive earlier. I'm doing this because I want to. You're not anyone to me anyway, so how I go out is none of your business. I'm not anyone to you. Zhu Yuchen gave a forced smile, his entire demeanor dark and dangerous, as if he were about to devour someone. "I'll show you right now exactly who I am. Shentang, I am Zhu Yuchen, your husband." With that, he lowered his face like a fierce tiger and firmly bit my lips. Husband, this word truly sounds so sweet, but he had previously said he would give me a divorce. He is going to marry Lin Huazi. He spent 3 days and 3 nights in love with Lin Huazi. He called for water 10 times in one night. Maybe just moments ago, he was still on Lin Huazi's bed. He's not my husband. He's Lin Huazi's husband. The more I thought about it, the more upset I became, and I pushed him with all my strength. The more I pushed him, the crazier he got, as if he wanted to kill me, leaving me completely defenseless. "Zhu Yuchen, you jerk, you're not human, you dog." I kept cursing at him. Even if I felt pleasure, I would still angrily curse at him. I don't know if it was because my emotions were fluctuating too much, but my stomach suddenly started hurting terribly. When he pressed me against the edge of the bed again, my body trembled slightly, and I collapsed onto the bed, motionless. "Shentang, Tang, I feel like I'm bleeding." At the moment I lost consciousness, I heard his panicked voice. I found it laughable. He would have been thrilled to see this beautiful freak die and be reborn sooner. How could he possibly panic when I passed out? When I fainted, the night had just fallen. When I woke up, the sun was already high. The curtains in front of the bed had been tightly drawn, but the thin curtains did not block sound, and I could clearly hear the noises outside. Why hasn't she woken up yet? Following this came the trembling voice of the imperial physician. "Your Highness, the young lady Shen has always been frail, and now there are signs of miscarriage, which is why she has been sleeping for so long." Premonitions of miscarriage. I let out a small sigh of relief. The little puppy in my belly is still there, however. A moment later, my heart was in my throat again. Zhu Yuchen knows about my pregnancy. The little puppy in my belly is done for because I was too emotional. I couldn't help but slap the bed. Hearing the noise from my side, Ju Yuchen lifted the curtain and sat down beside me. I subtly shifted my body further into the bed, deceiving myself to gain a bit of security. I know that if I hadn't woken up, Ju Yuchen would have had the imperial physician force me to drink the abortion medicine next. I suddenly woke up, so their conversation didn't continue. Ju Yuchen tightly grasped my hand. Are you still feeling unwell? My eyes darted around. Should I say I feel bad or not? Actually, I don't feel that bad anymore, but he hates me. He'll only feel better if I say I feel bad. Gently biting my lip, I still said, I feel bad, afraid he might really force me to drink an abortion potion. I paused and quickly added, don't worry, I won't use the child in my belly to force you to take responsibility for me. Let me leave here, and once I get home, I will take the abortion medicine. I want Xiaoguden to grow up safely and healthily, so I definitely won't take the abortion medicine. I just want to put Ju Yuchen's mind at ease. So you don't want these two children at all? Two. I was stunned. I can't believe it. I'm carrying twins, then I absolutely can't let Ju Yuchen kill them. I nodded vigorously. I don't want it. I'd rather die than want it. You can really put your heart at ease. I promise I'll drink 2 bowls of abortion medicine and make them disappear completely. I secretly glanced at the several imperial physicians standing respectfully nearby. Afraid they would prescribe me the abortion medicine. They didn't prescribe me any medicine, but for some reason, they kept trembling. Shentang, you're quite something. Ju Yuchen is angry again. He abruptly flicked his sleeve and turned to leave. I think he must be upset that I didn't drink enough of the abortion medicine. I quickly expressed my loyalty to him. 2 bowls aren't enough. Then I'll drink 10 bowls. As long as you let me go home, I'll drink 100 bowls if I have to. From each. Ju Yuchen sneered coldly once more, the murderous aura emanating from him sharp and bone-chilling, as if he wanted to wipe out my entire family. I covered my stomach, trembling like a sapling in a cold wind. This time, it's really over. I deeply regret my lack of resolve last night. If I hadn't fainted, Ju Yuchen would never have known about the existence of the little puppies, let alone wanted me to drink an abortion potion. But I must protect the pair of little babies in my belly. Ju Yuchen hasn't returned for several more days. I heard from the maids that he just hasn't returned to the imperial bedroom. He and Lin Huiqing were in the study, having a great time. He called for water 20 times in one night. I calculated the time and felt a slight sense of doubt. Ju Yuchen, there's something quick. Perhaps it's the pervert he hates the most, who is pregnant with his child. This blow is too much for him, which is why he's acting this way, right? I feel a bit sorry for him and also a bit upset. He and Lin Huaji are having a great time, and I'm really upset. I never expected the Emperor and Empress to meet me before Ju Yuchen became the Crown Prince. The highest-ranking official I had ever seen was just the prefect. Now I'm going to meet the Emperor and Empress, so it's no wonder I'm nervous. Moreover, I suspect the Emperor and Empress intend to hold me accountable. Throughout the vast Great Ju dynasty, there is no one who does not know the beautiful tale of the Emperor and Empress's deep affection. The Emperor is the founding ruler of the Great Ju dynasty, and the Empress is the virtuous wife he married during his humble beginnings. The two are deeply in love, remaining devoted to each other until death. Ju Yuchen was separated from them during the chaos of war when he was 6 years old. When the Empress gave birth to Ju Yuchen, her body was damaged, and she could no longer conceive. After the Emperor ascended the throne, his ministers urged him to expand the harem. As the Great Ju dynasty could not be left without an heir, however, the Emperor overruled the dissenting opinions and wished for only one couple in one lifetime, loving the house and its crow. Since the Emperor loved the Empress so much, he must have dearly loved Ju Yuchen, the lost and found crown prince. And as this beautiful pervert who tormented and humiliated Ju Yuchen for 2 years, they would surely sentence me to death by 1,000 cuts. I heard that death by 1,000 cuts involves being sliced over 1,000 times, and I was truly terrified. But if I didn't enter the palace, my mother and younger brother might also face the same fate. So, I gritted my teeth and went in. The palace was truly immense, majestic and imposing, yet not overly extravagant. I was captivated by the palace's breathtaking scenery and wanted to look around, but I didn't dare let my eyes wander. I feared that any improper behavior would only add to my crimes, and even if I were to face death by 1,000 cuts, They might give me a few extra slices. The emperor and empress were much more approachable than I had imagined. The emperor was just 40 years old, and his handsomeness rivaled that of my father. He stood tall and straight, looking no older than 30. The empress was breathtakingly beautiful, more like Zhu Yuchen's older sister than his mother. Pay respects to His Majesty and Her Majesty the Empress. The majesty of the royal family is awe-inspiring, and I dare not gaze upon the emperor and empress for too long, trembling in fear as I await their judgment. Rise quickly. To my surprise, the empress herself stands up and helps me to my feet. Let me take a good look. I was overwhelmed with gratitude, then I became nervous again. Is she trying to figure out how many cuts I can endure in a slow slicing execution? As I was filled with panic, I heard the queen's gentle and melodious voice. What a handsome young man. It's a steal for that rascal Xiao Chen. Tang tang. I heard that Xiao Chen almost froze to death and starved when he was 9 years old. Was it you who saved him? I looked at the queen in disbelief. The queen's attitude towards me is completely different from what I imagined. Shouldn't she be disgusted by my perversion? Why would she praise me for being handsome? Besides, I never saved Zhu Yuchen. When Zhu Yuchen was 9 years old, he truly fainted from hunger outside my house. I gave him a pill, then a piece of candy, and he woke up. Finding the gold leaves on me too heavy, I gave him a bag of them. He didn't want to leave, so I let him stay at my house and become a stable hand. The world has never truly been at peace in recent years. Wars, banditry, and plundering have brought suffering to the common people. I have seen far too many people left homeless. I have long lost count of the gold leaves I have casually given to those on the brink of death. I don't feel that I saved their lives, because in this world, even if I alleviated a temporary famine, they might still starve to death later, or die at the hands of foreign enemies or bandits. Therefore, I never thought that I saved Zhu Yuchen's life. I did not save the crown prince. I dared not deceive the emperor and spoke the truth. I merely gave the crown prince a bag of gold leaves. The empress laughed, her eyes sparkling like rippling water, captivating everyone. Good child. As she spoke, she directly removed a priceless jade bracelet from her wrist and slipped it onto mine. That rascal Xiao Chen is truly lucky. I dared not wear the jade bracelet the empress gave me, but since she had already placed it on my wrist, I dared not take it off. The empress chatted with me about many household matters. She also asked me how I used to get along with Zhu Yuchen. I want to die. How could I dare to say that? As this beautiful monster, I had also cruelly humiliated Zhu Yuchen, sitting on his waist and writing the character dog on his chest, the 3 characters dogman. I wrote those 2. I can only say, like a friend. After all, a bad friend is still a friend. I am Zhu Yuchen's mischievous friend, the pervert. After returning to the crown prince's residence, the emperor and empress sent me many rewards again. The empress also sent word that she would visit me at the crown prince's residence in a few days. I think it might be because she mistakenly believed I was Zhu Yuchen's savior, and out of gratitude, the empress has developed a slight fondness for me. I just can't figure out why. If Zhu Yuchen hated me so much, he would tell the emperor and empress that I saved his life. I'm not very smart, and I'm lazy. There are some things I can't figure out, and I can't be bothered to think about them anymore. Zhu Yuchen has sent someone to deliver an abortion potion, and I need to find a way to escape quickly. The emperor truly is a wise ruler. When I entered the palace, I asked him to order a thorough investigation into my father's case. He said that my father's case has been transferred to the Dali Temple, and if my father is truly innocent, justice will be served. The emperor's word is final. Moreover, Lu Xingye's influence does not extend to the Dali Temple, so I breathed a sigh of relief. I believe that the innocent will be vindicated, and the injustice against my father will surely be cleared. What worries me most right now are the 2 little ones in my belly. I had just returned from the palace when the maid brought over a bowl of dark, murky medicinal brew, claiming it was a pregnancy-preserving tonic. Who would believe that Zhu Yuchen would be so kind as to give me a pregnancy-preserving tonic? I pretended to be delighted and said I would definitely drink it. After dismissing the maids, I closed the windows and doors, then quietly poured the medicine into a plant whose name I couldn't recall. The plant's previously vibrant and tender leaves quickly wilted after I poured the medicine into it. Indeed, the pregnancy-preserving medicine was poisoned, Money can make the devil turn the millstone. During the time I was confined in the Crown Prince's residence, I secretly bribed one of the maids. I gave her a hairpin that I had bought for 20 taels of gold, and she helped me deliver the note to my brother. I asked my brother to get me a fake death potion, one that wouldn't harm the child in my womb. When a person dies, all grudges are resolved if they think I'm dead. Zhu Yuchen definitely won't force another abortion potion on me. Even if he hates me, at most he would just leave me in a mass grave that way. Once the drug wears off, I can run home and find my mother. The emperor is going to thoroughly investigate my father's case, and he will soon be acquitted and released. Then our family can be reunited. I'm a bit worried that after I die, Zhu Yuchen might stab me twice. I feel uneasy in my heart, but now that things have come to this point, I have no other choice but to silently pray in my heart that he isn't that perverted. This fake death pill was secretly given to me by someone who seized the opportunity on my way back from the palace. I took out that fake death pill, swallowed it, and lay on the bed waiting to die. No, it's waiting for a fake death. I can feel that I can't move, and I can't open my eyes, but I can hear the sounds around me. I heard a maidservant cry out in panic, "Oh no, Miss Shen is dead." Immediately, there were sounds of many people coming and going. I waited for the time it takes to drink a cup of tea before I heard Zhu Yuchen's voice. A scourge lasts 1,000 years. He seemed unable to believe that I, such a scourge, had died so easily. His voice was thick with hoarseness. "Who are you saying is dead? She can't be dead. Shen Tang, wake up for me. If you dare play tricks on me again, I'll have your entire family buried with you." I'm a bit nervous. He wouldn't really kill my whole family, would he? But right now, aside from being able to hear the sounds outside, I can't do anything. All I can do is tremble with fear as I listen to him go mad. "Shen Tang, wake up." Zhu Yuchen's voice grew softer later. It was gradually tinged with helplessness and panic. What was he panicking about? Does he fear that I might become a ghost to avenge him? I didn't want to implicate the innocent, so I left him a letter. It was made very clear that I took poison and committed suicide, with no involvement of others. I hope he can, considering I once called him my husband, send my body back to my family after my death. He must have seen that letter. His voice, already helpless, was now tinged with bone-deep hatred. "Do you love Lu Xingye so much that you'd rather take your own life than bear my child? You love Lu Xingye? Then I'll make sure he dies without a whole corpse. No, I don't want him dead. You are my wife. Why should I let you become a pair of ghostly lovebirds? That's right, I want him to live in agony, unable to die." "Damn man, what are you talking about? It was clearly you who first sent someone to give me the abortion medicine and didn't want the little pups. How come now you're shifting all the blame onto me?" However, I fully support his decision to torment Lu Xingye. That twisted, ungrateful wolf. Lu Xingye deserves to die a miserable death. You want me to send your corpse back home? I just want you to stay by my side. Zhu Yuchen is truly insane. The effects of this death-simulating drug only last for 12 hours. If he doesn't hurry and throw me into the mass grave, my feigned death will be exposed. "Shen Tang, please stop playing games with me. Okay, open your eyes and look at me. Tang Tang, wake up." Zhu Yuchen's voice grew softer and hoarser, and later, it was tinged with a clear note of pleading. "Wake up." I couldn't figure it out no matter how hard I thought. Zhu Yuchen even had someone send me an abortion potion. Logically speaking, he should hate me and wish for my miserable death. Why is he so upset when he thinks I'm dead? Could it be that he regrets I didn't die a more painful death? I hadn't figured it out yet when suddenly, I felt something land on my lips. It took my brain a moment to register, but then I realized, it was Zhu Yuchen's lips. I was so shocked I almost came back to life. As far as my current persona goes, I'm supposed to be a corpse. How could he treat a corpse like this? "Dogman, you're even more twisted than me. Tang Tang, don't leave, I beg you, open your eyes." Okay, he no longer refers to himself as I, and I feel my face getting hot, as if some liquid has fallen on it. The dogman, is he crying? How could he shed tears for me? Tang Tang. He seemed to be under a spell, calling my name over and over again, making my heart ache a little. Listening to Zhu Yuchen's heart-wrenching voice, I couldn't help but recall a tragic love story I had read before. The plot of that story was nothing more than him chasing, her fleeing, and her having no way to escape. In the story, the scumbag male lead, due to some misunderstandings, harbors deep hatred for the female lead, subjecting her to various forms of torment and harm. Yet, when the female lead dies, he suddenly realizes that he has fallen for her. Could Ju Yuchen be like that? But that kind of affection, I dare not accept. He sent someone to deliver abortion medicine to me, intending to kill the child in my womb. Even if he felt a hint of regret after my feigned death, it wouldn't move me. After all, this beautiful pervert of mine only enjoys tormenting others and has no interest in being tormented. Ju Yuchen held me tightly and kissed me deeply for a long time. Seeing that I showed no signs of waking up, his entire body trembled uncontrollably, yet he continued to hold me tightly, as if determined to maintain this posture until the end of time. The news of my death quickly spread throughout the Crown Prince's residence. Many people came to persuade Ju Yuchen to bury me quickly. Even the Emperor and Empress came, hoping he would let go of my body, but no one could persuade Ju Yuchen. He held me in his arms, talking to me incessantly. I never imagined that he, who was usually so sparing with words, could be so noisy. It was making my eardrums ache. What's even worse is that I've been feigning death for nearly 12 hours now, and I'm about to come back to life. A night of darkness and wind, a night for murder. Ju Yuchen was so heartbroken that he could barely sit still, and it was at this moment that I rose from the dead. Fortunately, Ju Yuchen's mental state was not good at this time, so he didn't notice my strange behavior. I stealthily retrieved the sedative needle mixed among the fake death pills by my younger brother and mustered all my strength to jab it into Ju Yuchen's back. Indeed, after receiving this jab from me, he immediately collapsed onto the bed, motionless. I quickly undid the token from his waist, found the most inconspicuous-looking outfit, changed into it, and then left the Crown Prince's residence disguised as a maid. Ju Yuchen didn't allow anyone to stand guard outside the bedroom, which just made it easier for me to leave. The people in the Crown Prince's residence all thought I was dead. I walked out with my head down, and with Ju Yuchen's token in my hand. Even if I encountered guards along the way, they wouldn't dare stop me. I easily escaped from the Crown Prince's residence. From then on, the sky was vast, and the sea boundless. I no longer had to worry about Ju Yuchen forcing me to drink an abortion potion. I didn't return to Liangju City but went to a small town in Jiangnan. The scenery in Jiangnan is beautiful, and I wished to live out my days there. The night I left Kyoto, my younger brother secretly followed me out of the city and handed me a stack of banknotes. The dashing young man, with tears and snot streaming down his face, insisted on going to Jiangnan with me. I coaxed him for a long time before he finally agreed to come find me after our father is released from prison and I have settled down in Jiangnan. I suspect my brother has converted half of our family fortune into silver notes and stuffed them into my hands. With so many silver notes, even if I had a crowd of servants, I couldn't spend them all in several lifetimes. But after arriving in Jiangnan, I still opened a rouge shop. I'm not well educated. Reading the classics gives me a headache, but since childhood, I've always loved making rouge, scented creams, and facial balms. The Shen family also runs a rouge shop. The best-selling rouge, scented cream, and facial oils at the Shen family's rouge shop all use formulas I provided. When I first arrived in Jiangnan, I had a few days of leisure, but as soon as I had nothing to do, I would think of my father, my mother, my brother, and Ju Yuchen. I think about the 20 times Ju Yuchen and Lin Huaji called for water throughout the night. I also think about the bowl of abortion medicine Ju Yuchen had someone bring to me, and after I faked my death, how he held my corpse and kissed me deeply. Thinking about it later, my heart ached so much that I opened a rouge shop, intending to find something to keep myself busy. On my way to Jiangnan, I picked up a few little girls who were wandering and destitute, their breaths faint. Those little girls, following me, have long since lost the appearance of being sallow and emaciated, enjoying good food and drink. They are only 12 or 13 years old, yet they have long been without a home. I let them stay at the rouge shop, learning to make rouge with me. I have far too much silver on hand, so I took out some money and opened a girls' school in the small town. In this world, women are always treated more harshly. I don't have grand ambitions to change the world, But as a woman who enjoys a life of luxury and comfort, I always hope that other women can live better lives as well. The school I established not only teaches girls to read. If some women, like me, truly cannot study the classics, they can also learn weaving, needlework, or even engage in business. My thoughts may be somewhat unconventional, but I have always felt that the purpose of a woman's journey in this world is not solely to serve her husband and raise children. We are first and foremost ourselves, before we are anyone's daughter, mother, or wife. My rouge shop grew larger and larger, and within just half a year, it became a favorite among many young women in Jiangnan. The women's schools I established are growing in number. Some ask me, since the women's schools don't charge tuition, and I run a cosmetics shop, aren't I afraid of going bankrupt? I simply smile. I don't explain to everyone that I am the daughter of the wealthiest family in Liangju City, nor do I mention that the banknotes my brother gave me when I left the capital alone are enough to support the schools I've opened for thousands of years, and my life, at most, will only be 100 years. I suspect that in my brother's heart, I am a prodigal daughter who squanders money. I am already so wealthy. Yet every month he still sends silver notes to me through his loyal servant. In the past half year, many things have happened in the capital. My father was released from prison 5 months ago. The Dali Temple investigation revealed that Lu Xingye had set a trap for my father. Lu Xingye, yes, he has had a rather miserable time over the past 6 months. My younger brother's letter to me said that Lu Xingye is truly disgusting, having failed to covet me. He took a girl who looks 6/10 like me as his mistress. He even calls that girl Tang Tang. Lu Xingye's legally wedded wife, the daughter of a minister, found out about this and directly stormed to the south of the city, ordering her wicked servants to beat the girl half to death. The girl was also unfortunate, as she was forcibly taken by Lu Xingye, and was pregnant with her late husband's child. That innocent child was lost when the minister's daughter's people beat her. Lu Xingye seemed to dote on that girl, but when the daughter of the Minister of Revenue found out he was keeping a concubine, she didn't hesitate to kick her while she was down. However, the minister's daughter was no pushover and continued to create havoc with him. The Grand Court of Revision also uncovered that he had framed my father, which infuriated the emperor, who directly threw him into prison. It said that in other courtyards, he also kept several girls. The daughter of the Minister of Personnel had once genuinely loved him, but after learning about the things he had done, she was utterly disappointed in him. She also arranged for him to be well taken care of in prison. My brother said that on a whim, he wasted some silver to visit Lu Xingye. The once handsome man was now unrecognizable. His legs were broken, his hands crippled, and his body covered in wounds. Truly a pitiful sight. After reading my brother's letter, all I could say to Lu Xingye was that he deserved it. He came from a humble background and had finally climbed the ladder of success. Instead of focusing on serving the people, he abused his power to frame the innocent and satisfy his own selfish desires. He brought this upon himself. No one else is to blame. My father, mother, and brother were also unable to return to Liangju City, my brother said. Zhu Yuchen seemed to have gone mad, not allowing them to return. Zhu Yuchen also did not marry Lin Huaji. He even said I was his crown princess. My younger brother also heard that Lin Huaji was thrown into prison, though he couldn't find out the reason. I also think Zhu Yuchen is sick. He's already called for water 20 times with Lin Huaji in one night, so why not marry her? I can't figure out why Lin Huaji was thrown into prison either. As a young lady from the prestigious Duke's mansion, who would dare to lock her up in the heavenly prison? I can't figure it out, so I stopped thinking about it. I don't want to bother with other people's affairs lately. I just want to give birth to my 2 little ones safely. I've heard that childbirth for women is like walking through the gates of hell. Not long ago, the shopkeeper next to my rouge shop gave birth and never woke up. The midwife said that I was carrying twins, and since it was my first pregnancy, it was especially dangerous. I was afraid that I might never wake up again, unable to fulfill my filial duties to my parents, and unable to see my brother achieve the triple excellence, becoming the youngest and most handsome Zhuangyuan Lang in the great Zhu dynasty. I was also afraid that the 2 little babies in my belly might be born without a mother. Miss Shen, the few young apprentices in my shop gently nudged me when I looked up. I realized that Pei Shotsai had entered my rouge shop without me noticing. Pei Shotsai was a destitute scholar who had collapsed outside my rouge shop 3 months ago. I had someone give him a silver ingot, hoping it would help him through the hardest time. Who would have thought that after waking up, Pei the scholar would come to my rouge shop almost every day? The young apprentices in my shop tease me, saying that Pei the scholar has taken a liking to me. I think the apprentices have poor eyesight. Although Pei the scholar comes from a humble background, he is a graceful and talented young man. How could he possibly be fond of me, a widow with a big belly whose husband died on the battlefield? Yes, many people have inquired about my husband, and I always say that he went to serve in the military and died on the battlefield. Hearing Pei the scholar call me, I set the abacus aside and asked him gently, Pei the scholar, why have you come? Pei the scholar really has thin skin. As soon as I speak to him, his delicate, handsome face turns as red as a cooked shrimp. He turned his face away, his ears red, his lips moving for what seemed like an eternity, as if summoning all his courage. Before finally uttering a sentence, Miss Shen, I admire you. From now on, may I take care of you? I felt as if I had turned to stone. I couldn't believe it, but my young assistants had sharp eyes and hadn't been mistaken. I have no intention of marrying anyone else. I was trying to gather my thoughts, searching for a way to reject Scholar Pei without hurting his feelings, when I heard him say, I truly admire Miss Shen. If Miss Shen is willing to marry me, after our marriage, I will not only cherish Miss Shen like a treasure but also treat the child in her womb as my own. Shen Tang, do you think you can marry someone else while carrying my child? As soon as Scholar Pei finished speaking, I heard Zhu Yuchen's voice, nearly gritted with anger. Immediately after, I saw him walk into the rouge shop, dressed in a long, dark robe, unmatched in elegance. I knew Zhu Yuchen had come to settle accounts with me. My legs trembling, I grabbed a handful of silver and tried to run, but Zhu Yuchen had brought many guards with him. They stood like towering mountains blocking the entrance to my rouge shop, making escape impossible, daring to fake your death and scheme against me. Shen Tang, you're quite capable. Thinking of the warm tears Zhu Yuchen shed on my face after I faked my death, I felt a little guilty, but remembering that he was the one who sent someone to give me the abortion medicine, I straightened my back again. It was His Highness the Crown Prince who first sent someone to give me the abortion medicine. If I hadn't faked my death to escape, the babies in my belly would have already died at your hands. I didn't send anyone to give you an abortion potion. Zhu Yuchen's eyes were bloodshot, and he took a step forward, wanting to grab my hand. Even Pei the scholar didn't expect that the father of the child in my womb was the crown prince. His beautiful eyes were filled with sorrow. Miss Shen, didn't you say before that your husband had already died on the battlefield? Hearing Zhu Yuchen's cold snort, I panicked even more. Die alone on the battlefield? Shen Tang, are you really hoping for my death that much? I wasn't hoping for his death, I just kept thinking about him, and I didn't want to think about him. Your Highness, please don't be harsh with Miss Shen. She is with child. You can't be so harsh with her. Clearly, the scholar Pei was afraid of the high-ranking crown prince, but he was very righteous and still stood in front of me to protect me. In his eyes, there was still sorrow, but also a sense of relief. I understand that Pei Xiu wants me to live well. He is both disappointed and happy for me that my so-called husband did not die on the battlefield, yet he is also afraid that I might be wronged. In short, his emotions are mixed at this moment. Shen Tang, come here. Zhu Yuchen took another step forward, clearly wanting to pull me into his arms. I don't know if it's because I'm too nervous or what, but my stomach suddenly started hurting terribly. I also felt warm liquid flowing out from below. The pain made me bend over instantly. My stomach hurts so much. I might be going into labor. Miss Shen Tang, the Zhu Yuchen, who had just been dignified and cold, unattainable, suddenly lost his composure. He stepped forward, as if holding a precious treasure that had been lost and found again, carefully wrapping me in his embrace. Don't be afraid, Tang, I'll take you home right now. His guards were also encountering this situation for the first time, and it was Scholar Pei who led them to find the midwife. He carried me back to the house I had purchased half a year ago. Several midwives refused to let him enter the delivery room, saying it was inauspicious. But he paid no heed to the midwife's objections and stayed by my side the entire time. I've been delicate since I was young, most afraid of pain, and I couldn't give birth, always unable to stop shedding tears as I cried. His eyes turned red, and the corners of his eyes grew moist. After a whole night of struggle, I finally gave birth to 2 little babies, a boy and a girl, completing the perfect pair. The midwife said that after so many years of delivering babies, it was the first time they had ever seen a man cry his eyes red during a woman's labor. I couldn't even imagine that the Crown Prince, who had already established his authority in the court over the past half-year and was known by countless people as cold and unfeeling, would cover his face and cry like a helpless child. I had exhausted too much energy during the birth. When I opened my eyes, it was already the next day. Ju Yuchen sat right by the bedside, tightly holding my hand. I realized that he seemed to care about me a little, but thinking about how he and Lin Huaji called for water 20 times in one night, I still didn't want to pay him any attention. Tang Tang, you're really awake. I was so scared. Dogman, so pretentious. I puffed out my cheeks, not wanting to talk to him, but some words were stuck in my heart, making me really uncomfortable. I still glared at him irritably. What deep feelings are you pretending to have? You don't even like me. If you cared about me a bit, you wouldn't have mentioned giving me a divorce letter when you returned to the capital. You were with Lin Huazi, and you didn't get off the bed for 3 days and 3 nights. The 2 of you even called for water 20 times. In one night, I never touched Lin Huazi, perhaps finding my words too unbelievable. Ju Yuchen paused for a moment before gently kissing the back of my hand and then continued, I have never thought of marrying her. When I first returned to the capital, my father and mother indeed intended to arrange a marriage between me and Lin Huazi, but I said that I already had a wife. Father and mother urged me to bring you back to the capital, but all you care about is that scoundrel Lu Xingye. And it hurts me so much. You don't even want our little baby, which is why I haven't announced to the world that you are my crown princess. I blushed. I never expected that his relationship with Lin Huiqing was fake. I never liked Lu Xingye. I also didn't not want these 2 little dolls. I was worried that you would force me to drink an abortion potion, so I said I would drink it myself after returning home. How could I bear to force you to drink an abortion potion? Ju Yuchen tightly hugged me. I've found out. It was Lin Huiqing who bribed the maids in the mansion and poisoned the herbal medicine for pregnancy safety that I had sent over. I have already made Lin Huaji pay the price. Tang Tang, luckily you were clever and didn't drink that bowl of medicine. Otherwise, Ju Yuchen's arms around me were trembling slightly. Clearly, even now, he is still afraid. My heart softened into a complete mess. And suddenly I didn't want to act petty with him anymore. You don't like Lin Huaji, and you're not allowed to like any other girls in the future either. If you dare to like someone else, I deliberately put on a particularly fierce expression, then I won't like you anymore. Tang Tang, what did you just say? Ju Yuchen's fingertips trembled violently, his eyes filled with overwhelming joy and disbelief as he looked at me. You like me. I like dogs. You dog. Ju Yuchen deeply kissed me. I'm the dog thing. And Tang Tang can only like me from now on. The dog thing's hands aren't even honest. He's not just a dog thing, he's also shameless. But after half a year apart, I truly missed him, and I didn't push him away. Instead, I allowed him to deepen the kiss even more recklessly. Suddenly, the baby's cry rang out. I quickly pushed him away. I haven't even seen the baby yet. He seemed unwilling to be neglected, his eyelids drooping, like a big wolf dog feeling wronged. Seeing my anxiety, he still picked up the 2 little ones, one in each arm, and brought them to me. Tang Tang, even if we have children, you have to like me a little more. Got it. I couldn't bear to see him looking so pitiful, so I just placated him. He was overjoyed, hugging me and the 2 little ones tightly, unwilling to let go. I smiled wryly. I touched the faces of the 2 little dolls and gave him a fair hug. In this world, with love, wine, and him, it's truly wonderful. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see.